Welcome back, my fellow animation nerds. Today is Thursday, and that means Acting Analysis Day, and today we're going to talk about the movie I, Tonya. We? There's no we. I'm just talking, and you're patiently listening, and I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning back in. There's so much good stuff in there, but there are still smaller sections that I want to take a look at, which involve body posture, how a character kind of moves, and how the general posture is. So it's not like a default character, which is like a common thing in animation to just have your default pose and then just animate within that pose. They're not giving a general pose and character to your character. And also a moment where, in general, you don't really want to act out words. It's a bit too on the nose, but there are some moments in movies, like in this one, where a character has very specific hand gestures that work so well within the context of the scene. And in this case, played by a fantastic actor. I'll link the whole clip in the description. I don't want to do it here because of sound issues and YouTube and takedowns and all kinds of stuff, but you're going to have a link in the description for the whole clip for you to look at. And I'm going to go straight into the scenes that I like. Even smaller parts, like this here, his little head turns, his little head accents, how he changes expressions. This cracks me up. It's so good. Turns around, has the head up, goes down, has a little smile. Then how he turns into from this here to that. There's just so many good moments with this character. I absolutely love it. But after all of this, after all of the back and forth and him realizing that this person is just an idiot, and the idiot actually thinking that he is fantastic and this great spy and bodyguard and everything, there's this moment where he reveals that he is 4 steps ahead, that he has planned something. And there's this great moment where he realizes, well, I gotta do this. I gotta go and rescue those people because I'm thinking 4 steps ahead. And the way he says it in this scene, where he goes, I'm always 4 steps ahead. And it's so good. I love that he has this, well, I'm thinking, I'm smart, I got this brain, and I'm thinking 4 steps ahead. How he kind of acts out each step. Oh, he has this little glee moment here. It's so good. But what I love about this is that he doesn't just stay 4 steps ahead. If you look at this, he goes 4 steps ahead, but then he keeps acting out those steps. I love this section. He has that, and then he continues, and he has that stare. He looks at him and continues with his hand. It's such a good moment where you can take a moment and you can kind of act things out with your, with specific gestures that might be too on the nose and someone goes, you, or, specific kind of too over the top or simple acting. But that thing where he kind of in his mind goes, well, these are the steps. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. And he shows him and goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And I love that he has that moment of telling him and then continues as he stares with that gesture. It's just such a cool moment. But the thing that's great about this, especially, as he says this, he realizes that he's such an idiot. I wish I could just punch him. Like, he destroyed the plan. He just made everything worse. The reason why I love this is because of what he's doing here. He gets towards the character, and he wants to strangle him, he wants to punch him. He's completely oblivious. He has no idea. But the cool thing here is that, let's say you have an audio piece, and this is the end. You did your lip sync, you did everything that kind of matches the audio, the rhythm and everything, and the shot is technically done. But if you have audio where the scene continues but there's no dialogue, so you have ambient sound, it doesn't sound like you just cut off the audio, you have room to continue with something. So this scene could have just ended and the shot will be done. But now you can take control of that scene and add something to it. So this scene, when he comes back in, and there's long anticipation with the face, and you could bring up hands that maybe you want to strangle him, or what do you want to do, or you can have like here a nice silhouette where maybe, the hand for a punch. I mean, that's how well I draw. But there's so much you can do just in this moment where this is your acting. This is your moment where I'm gonna add something to the scene that is my own, and I'm gonna add. And you can change the subtext where maybe they're mad, and maybe at this point the guy actually looks at him and smiles and realizes maybe it's not that bad, or he's such an idiot. I mean, he can't help himself. Maybe I'm too harsh. Or he gets even more angry, maybe grabs an object and is ready to punch him, and maybe the other character would then turn around and see him, and he has the object and looks at him, just puts it back down. So there's so much more you can do once the audio stops. I thought that was a really cool moment, and it's this in this movie, it's throughout this movie. So in general, I highly recommend that you watch this movie. Another scene that is fantastic is when you see the actual incident happening, and how the character kind of prepares for it and is nervous, and it just has that tension in it. So if you look at his body posture, how he moves, how he looks around, the constant breathing, the nervousness, you can see that. Also awesome intro. I love how we just follow this vehicle to kind of reveal that character. It's a small thing, but I love stuff like that. So you can see here, he has, I don't know if he's like a puffy jacket, but he has those shoulders really up, the arms are curved out, but he has this constant, to me as I watch this constant inhale where it's just always, there's so much tension in him. He's so tense in this. And you can see as he walks around, it kind of ramps it up where he is, I won't say relaxed, but he has those moments where he waits and looks, but then, okay, what should I do? And it just continues on where it just escalates, where it gets worse and worse. He looks for her as he realizes where she is and who it is, and he finally has now a visual, representation of, I got to do this to her. Obviously, he gets more tense, more nervous, and you got this little pause there in the movie where he gets ready. There's more breathing. I love this here, the closing of the eyes. There's so much to this. I mean, he looks like me during my sick days here with all of this, but anyway. And then as he continues here, also the music ramps up. You can see this in the link when you watch the scene separately. Gets there, and even this, like, to me, there's something about those high shoulders, the tension here. There's no swinging of the arms. You got the fist here. There's so much in there. Nice silhouette there, and then bam, goes into that, and then he just freaks out. I love how even in this we don't see the baton. But you can see how this arm is much stiffer as he walks. And the thing that's absolutely ridiculous in this movie, in a good way, is that all those different acting choices where he's trapped, he needs to get out. He tries to, it's a very, very weird way to get out there to hurt yourself. But what I love about this is that as he turns around, that's his partner here, he just tackles the guy for no reason. I love it. He just grabs him, tackles, goes over it, and then that's it. There's no reason. But there's so many moments like this in this movie, just acting wise and acting choices that are just so strange but funny. It's an interesting mix in this movie where it's going back and forth between comedy and drama, seriousness and jokes where you just have to laugh. And I think some of the critics kind of didn't like that. I absolutely loved the movie. I loved the tone of the movie. But in general, I thought that was really interesting. And that's going to be an F&A later on where we talk about the default state of a character. One of the things that students do is they have the character and in T-pose, bring it back down and arms down, but then that's it. And then you can look at the reference and then act things out or have gestures, whatever it is. But the thing is, you have to look at what's the emotional state of the character. How do they feel at this point or in general? Maybe they have an overall lean like this. Not they want to do like, the hunchback or something, but they could be always like this. They could be kind of, proud and chest out, or if it's a bigger person, do they flaunt their belly and walk around like this? There's a certain posture that's going to be the character's default posture. And there's another movie I want to talk about at a later point called Foxcatcher, where you have Steve Carell, Channing Tatum, Mark Ruffalo, and they all have a very specific way of just sitting or standing or walking, and you see this from the very beginning of the movie. It's absolutely fantastic in terms of body posture. But overall, I think two important things to think about. What can you do when you have an audio clip where you don't just want to stick to the audio? You can do things in between when there are pauses at the end. There's always something you can add to a shot to make it more creative, make it your own, so that your own personality, your own sense of humor comes through. And then in general, think about body posture, body attitude, so that you can see that this is a character. It's not just something where it's a rig and you put some movement in there and kind of match the mouth to the lip sync and that's it. You want to try to put in as much character and as much personality into that rig. So it's taking a life of its own, meaning it's not matching your reference. It's not just something that's just simple. It's a character where from far away, like the silhouettes, the way they move. Oh yeah, that's this character because they always move like this, or that's the way they do their gestures, that's the way they do their head turns. You want to try to give your characters as much personality as you can. So try to go away from the default pose and see what you can do with it. If you've seen the movie and you have other scenes that you think are fantastic, which to me there are so many other scenes that are great, leave a comment, let me know which scenes those are. As always, if you want to have all the updates, you want to get notified about it, hit the subscribe button and the bell button. If you like this, give this a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And as always, if you watch the whole thing till the very end, I appreciate your commitment to watching the whole thing. And I will see you next time.